premature ejaculation.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy PD pre-draft preview. I'm back with the Fantasy PD hosts. Peter's in the back of a car to get ice cream right now, so I am filling in as host this week. And then we have the other usuals, Nick and Dan. Welcome everyone.
Yeah.
We got a big draft coming up this weekend. What's everyone looking forward to? Any questions you're hoping to get answered this weekend or sometime this season? We can preview the whole season and the draft tonight.
Mr. Kanish, you got anything?
Let's start it out with you, Nick.
All right. Well, I got Mr. Noodle here. He is very energetic and he is very excited for everyone to be flying in. So I'm especially excited to see the people that are traveling. So Luke, Alex, Cole, the Philly boys, Jake, Matt, and Shaw. I'm just excited for them to all make the trip and have a good weekend.
Nick, what team do you want to be on for the scramble this weekend? Who do you think the best captain would be?
Well, I'll take the guy that just got a hole in one. I don't know, little birdie told you or not, but I'd love to be on Jake's team. I'd be honored.
Any comment from any other captains that are on this call right now?
How about ice cream?
I think that's a solid pick by him.
Pete's given up on golf.
Yeah, Pete, fight for me.
Yeah.
Fight for my love.
No, Matt Nick just texted me that he ordered something to my house, and I'm kind of nervous.
I know
That's
what
I'm looking forward to.
I think the thing I'm looking forward to this weekend is some of the fits. I got something ordered to my house by one of the guests flying in, and I know that Matt ordered something to Peter's house. So I think there's going to be some electric outfits for the weekend.
I did not know about that, but that is probably what I'm looking most forward to now that I know about it. Let's move on. Nick, you gave us keeper tiers. You want to run through these really quick? It's a pretty big name at the top.
I'd love to. Bergh, I hate to toot your horn since we're rivals, but you have by far the best keeper. Everyone kind of knows it in the league. So yours is kind of you're getting the top tier one is like 3 rounds plus of value with your keeper, and that's where I think yours is. Then kind of as I get down, maybe tier two. So this is where I have Cole and Hebert, which I slotted a little lower with the Zeke signing. I still think both of them are getting multiple rounds of keeper value, so more than 2, I'd say. I will say that for those watching, Cole is a little on the fence right now. He's thinking between maybe Kenneth Walker, Patrick Mahomes. I think at the end of the day, he goes with the running back. And then there's a huge tier 3. This is like, about one round of value. So you'll see my Jalen Waddle pick. Love that one. You'll see Pete here with Damian Pierce, Hurts, Jacob. So I think tier 3, I apologize. Mr. Noodle is loving this tier list. Anyways, tier 3, about a round of value. And then you get to the tier 4. This is the group where Dan, keeper, Chris and Jake, less than a round of keeper. So not really much value. I apologize about the time. Sarah is currently gone, so she cannot.
You're good. He looked like he was in a hostage video for a good half of the keepers. You got to watch that back because that was some all-time videography by Pete.
I had to mute myself there. That was hard to watch. I didn't hear a word that you said, Nick. Sorry, I was busy laughing.
Honestly, I was just kind of reiterating what's on here.
No, I like the list a lot. I noticed Dan says NA. What player is that? I could not find any NA players on his team.
Non-alcoholic,
Interesting.
NA beer. I maybe that's a reference to that or something. So
And you think keeping
The
NA
league has ruled that I am too dominant and too good at fantasy, and I need to be handicapped, so they took my keeper away.
what place did you finish in last year?
I've got the
I think you're the only. I think your own yourself is the handicap.
this league is trying to persecute me for crimes I did not commit. Me and Mr. President are both being persecuted improperly for crimes we did not commit.
There's evidence.
In both cases, no.
I plead the fifth. My teaser along with this, which is I can say because Luke's not going to watch. I have Luke slotted in for Josh Jacobs. There is a much better keeper on his team in Devonta Smith. I don't think he's going to watch this. I think there's still a chance he picks Josh Jacobs, but he could do Devonta sixth in the sixth for which is he's slotted around what ADP second, third round. So he would be a tier 1 to tier 2 type keeper if he decides that. But I'm not sure what his thoughts are.
I expect him to make the wrong choice as well. And I also don't expect him to watch this podcast, so we can give him all the advice we want on here.
Fuck you, Milk.
All right. Next, we threw together some betting odds for this league. This is before the draft, and this is for the entire season. Who odds to win the championship, to lose the whole thing like Dan did last year, and to make and miss the playoffs. Now, I'm not going to be taking any actual bets on other people because that would be collusion if Dan's betting on someone to do well and then trade some good players like he might have done last year. But I'd take bets on yourself. If anyone thinks that the odds are wrong on themselves to do well, I'll take some action on that. Dan and Nick, are there any bets if you could put money on this? What do you think the odds are looking like here?
The Matt Nick minus 200 missed playoffs is some all-time slander. I'll take Bergh at plus 130 to miss the playoffs.
Right after we talked about how I had the best keeper, some
Tony
people say
Pollard will be on my team by week 4.
I don't deny that. There's a good chance he is, but I'll have 2 better players than him that in return from you, just like you gave me Garrett Wilson last year.
Good point.
I think Hebert deserves a little bit more love. I'd probably put a little bit of money on him. I know you don't think he's the most active or smartest manager, Bergh, but I think just with his keeper starting at that, I think he should be a little bit lower on the odds.
He does have a decent boost with the keeper, which, like we'd already said, lost some value this week. But I've played in a league with Hebert for 8 years, I think now, and a league with keepers as well. Years he's had good keepers, some years he hasn't, but he has only made the playoffs one time, and he lost the only playoff game he's ever been in that league. So I don't have very high hopes for him here.
I think I would put money on Cole to make the playoffs. I think the man does too much research, has too good of a keeper, and is too active to miss the playoffs.
I agree. I think that's the reason he's tied with a big group of people. The second highest odds behind me, of course, to make the playoffs. But I think Cole is a heavy favorite. I've heard from other people to win the league this year.
Your Dan odds are totally off. Plus 800. There is not going to win this year. He's just. We've talked about it with him, and he just said like, "Hey, this like collusion punishment is almost like a year away from the league. Like this is like, or I think it's hamstringing him a ton, and he's going to realize it quickly after the draft."
I'm going to win this league, pull my dick out, and drag it across your face live on Fantasy PD.
Do we have a subscription service that we're going to be streaming on that maybe Matt Nick could pay for or something that we'd be able to show that?
I don't think we can
love that.
broadcast on the YouTube channel. We will have to find alternate ways.
We'll find a way.
All right. Well, before we hang it up here, does anyone have any final comments to say before the big draft this weekend?
Whoever's been putting this whole draft weekend together has done an impeccable job, and whoever's doubted him in any way can get bent.
It sounds like it's going to be a fun weekend. The communication was a little subpar leading up to it, but I as well thank the person who's put all of it together. And I look forward to seeing everyone this weekend.
Did we
Can't wait
did we have questions prepared? I had a couple questions prepared.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead with it.
You told us to come prepared with a couple questions. Both of mine are Mr. Milk related. They kind of just started to jump out at me. Because number one, I already made a teaser of it. The over-under for number of podcasts he listens to. I'll set the line at 1.5.
Under.
What are both of yours thinking? Under? And then my other one was the over-under, how many times he threatens to quit the league. And I'll set that one at in writing, 2.5. Overall, 3.5.
I got the under.
You think he
only
doesn't
heard
threaten?
I
all
got
him
the over.
doing it twice over 2 seasons.
Anytime
Okay.
we suggest a new rule, he threatens to quit.
That is
Yeah.
true. He also said, I'm not taking a keeper no matter what. What do you want to bet he takes a keeper?
I don't know. He kind of sticks to his word sometimes.
Milk
So
is
I mean,
the
if he
biggest
really thinks
closeted league fan there is. He
that
loves
is
the
true,
league.
he does.
Who's threatened to quit the league more, Milk or Dan? Every time you say how hard it is to be commissioner.
Dan's. I think the answer is Dan. I think
Yeah, you say he'll
Dan
quit the league
individually has
before
told
giving
enough
up.
people that he wants to quit the league because of the league mates.
I said I hate commissioning sometimes because the people I'm leading over are idiots.
That is a good soundbite for the rest of the season, I think, as your season flounders.
Dan, did you prepare any questions for this podcast?
Yeah, I think it would be so far we've had 2 people win and the same 2 people lose. What do you think the odds are that we have no new winners? And what do you think the odds are we have no new losers? What do you think is more likely? We have a repeat winner or a repeat loser?
More likely to be a repeat loser. For some of the reasons Nick was saying earlier of you not having a keeper, I think you and Shaw are more you than Shaw are kind of a boom or bust player. You go for big swings, which obviously has turned out one year for the better and one year for the worse. But this year, just because you're positioned worse, I'd have to say a repeat loser.
I think the
I'm in
interesting
agreement.
thing is the change of losers bracket rules will kind of suss out the worst team in a better way.
I
Like,
agree.
Last year, Bergh, you would have lost.
I don't know. Well, I would have. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I think you had the worst team last year, but
Yeah, I remember that. I forgot that we did that, and I'm glad that we're changing it. I remember it was Chris and Alex, and I think they both
Yeah.
were in that little middle area, but neither of their teams were that great that it felt like they should have been in that bowl that competing to be the worst team doing the beer mile. So
Yeah, just a little bye week. Or no, I would have gotten the bye week as the worst last place.
are we voting on punishments here soon, Kamish?
Punishments are coming out. I pulled the league and we have 3 to guess on or vote on. So I'll post that after this. Really, I think the only one that has a chance is the one I'm submitting, and that's next year's golf scramble, wear women's clothes.
That has my vote. I think that's so funny. I think it's good. I even would vote that it's okay to take a picture. Like I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't care either, but I understand maybe some people's sensitivity around photos getting out. But, put your shame to the side. If you really hate it, don't lose. Beer mile's stupid. I'm gonna do it, and you could clip this. I'm gonna do it Saturday, not throw up, be totally fine, and have the best draft that anyone's ever had in fantasy. And then it'll be like, wow, that was such a good punishment.
What do you think your time will be?
Don't need a good time. I need
All
to
right.
finish without throwing up. That's my goal.
I want to see you do it in under 10 minutes.
We'll see.
All right.
But no, I won't.
Got the
Probably.
over.
Mhm.
I don't think you
Right.
can do it without beer in 10 minutes.
Realistic. Whoa, buddy. I am in shape. I'm on my work computer. Someone's team is messaging me. Weird. So anyway, what would a realistic over under be for the beer mile this Saturday?
What was Schultz's time last year?
I don't really know. I don't think we kept the time, but I think we should start this year. And also because this is the first official beer mile, and if we choose to run it back, we could have like a hall of shame.
I think a good over under is like 14 or 15 minutes.
I got the over on that.
I think you'd be, yeah, I would also take over. What about 20?
I'm going to really explore the time, I think. I'm out to prove a point that the beer mile is the shittiest punishment alive.
You're a great commissioner.
Thanks, Dan.
I just had one question before we end this. Last year, right before the draft, about a week and a half before or so, I ended up with an injury. This year, Chris does. Next year, who gets injured a week before the draft, and what's the injury?
That's a good question.
I
think it's Chris
gonna-
again.
I've got Pete in a biking accident on those like little like dirt bike paths that they have like by Pleasant View. He sometimes does that. He said one time he was there and there was an ambulance taking a dude on a stretcher. I think maybe that could be in Pete's future if he doesn't watch out. Better to do safe activities like golf and fantasy football.
I think
down steps.
I thought about that one as well. I think Dan is going to get mugged before the draft next year.
Thanks, buddy.
Just a prediction.
By someone in the league? By someone in the league?
I don't know. We'll see. Does anyone have anything else before we wrap things up?
It was fun to do it. Glad to be back on the horn.
This was
talk
nice.
to you again. I look forward to seeing everyone this weekend. I will see you two then as well. Goodbye, everyone.